Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Thick Boys Podcast. It's been a while, not for you because you technically got an episode last week, but for us, it's been a pretty little bit. As you can tell by how we look so different, we don't. But hi, welcome back to the Thick Boys Podcast, the thickest podcast in the world. I'm your host, Andy Phillips.
And I'm Carlos.
You got the lower third. Still a good time. All right, guys. So to start out the episode, we're going to give a few updates.
Peace up. A-Town down. Yeah.
To start out, Carlos, rumor has it you're going on a little vacation soon.
Yeah. I am going to Mexico.
Ooh.
I'm not going to tell you specifically, but it's at a beach.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin is getting married, and we're staying at a resort.
Ooh.
All-inclusive resort. We're going to have a good time, and it's going to be great because it's cold in Chicago.
Yes,
and it's going to be
terrible here.
Beautiful.
I'm so glad I get to stay behind. Yeah, that sounds like a great time. I also will be traveling in the not too distant future for a bit of a longer thing. I will be moving to Los Angeles. I know.
Cali boy.
Here I go. Whoa, even though I was there in June for a bit. I'll be going out there for about a year and continuing to
become a big movie star.
Maybe, who knows? That's going to be happening. So on that front, we're going to...
Wait, do we want to talk about why... I want to talk about why this... why there was such a long break between episodes.
I mean, sure. I honestly not sure, too. I think it was just laziness on my part.
For one, the audio, if you didn't notice, was terrible in the last episode.
Yeah.
Which was entirely my fault.
We just found out, and I
forgot to set the main audio source as the microphone, and it was recording from my laptop.
Sorry,
and it was
Bailey.
so bad that we ended up using the camera audio, which was a little bit better, but still bad.
Yeah.
And that just kind of like, when we were like editing, we were just kind of like, this is annoying. Let's put this off for later.
Yeah.
Let's deal with this another time. And then we just kept saying that. And then the Tinder, sort of segment was really long. Like, I think how long was the total recording overall?
The total recording was close to an hour, and I kept 8 minutes of the entire content for the Tinder bit. The entire recording was close to an hour 45, and you clearly saw the episode you guys got was a half hour, but it's a tight half hour, and I liked it.
Yeah, and then the KFC bit that we did in the second half of the episode where it was like, all right, let's check out this segment we did. Yeah. So we recorded that segment the next night, and the game was a lot longer than I had anticipated. Everyone was telling me, it's a short game, short playthrough. So I'm thinking, okay, it's going to take an hour. And then it took us an hour to get to like maybe the halfway point.
And you guys even see the part. We spent so much time character building with voices for each character, and they're like, here's Plop, and we're like, who the fuck is Plop? Like, and they just kept shoving new characters, and we're like, we're running out of accents. This could start getting insensitive. Like,
it was such an exhausting game to play. Yeah. And then so halfway through, we're like, okay, you know what? We're done for tonight. Maybe we'll pick this up later. And then like 10 minutes after we stopped recording, we already decided we're not playing this again.
No.
This was awful. And then
it didn't succeed in its job of convincing me to get KFC either. So.
And then I go to record, or to edit, and I cut the hour episode down to about 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I cut that 25 minutes down to about 10 minutes for the podcast. So just overall, the whole editing process was exhausting.
But by the time you're watching this episode, see the full 25 minutes he's talking about on our YouTube.
The 25 longer cut will be on the YouTube, so you'll be able to enjoy that.
Yeah.
So overall, it was just a mixture of shortcomings on our part when it came to the recording process, and then looking at how much we had to edit the episode, feeling overwhelmed and saying, we'll deal with it another time, and then work got in the way, and then just mental health, like
it's all a big
breaks, and it was all over the place. Appreciate the love that we got from people when we announced, hey, like we're still here.
It's not dead.
In your dream, we're
back to death.
You're together with Colonel Sanders. We're still here, and the episode's coming. And anytime we posted a picture, you guys showed a lot of love, which we appreciate.
We do.
So thank you to you guys for kind of just supporting us, one way or another.
So looking back at the past and looking at the future, our plan, assuming we stay strong with it and everything, is to basically bring as much fun content as we can up until around the holidays. Because around January is when I'm making this transition out west. And so we're not canceling the show. We're not doing anything of that. We're just going to be calling it a hiatus because obviously I have family here. I have friends here. I'm going to be visiting. And I don't even know how long this move is going to be. Yeah. Like, it could be a year. It could be longer. But I have full, intentions to. I mean,
if we
keep this fun alive.
If we see each other, whether it's like me coming out there or you coming here, I mean, I would anticipate creating some form of content, whether it's a podcast episode or some bit or something. Yeah. I think, we're both pretty just committed to just continuing to make fun content. Yeah. And even with the move, it's just like. Well, I mean, we take a break and then...
And if you guys are fans of, like, YouTubers that do a similar format, like such as, I'm pretty sure Tiny Meat Gang has done it, where they kind of Skype in their podcast. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I have a brother that had a podcast that he also, they all Skyped in for it. So it's like, it's quite possible that we can just continue this weekly format and we'll just do it remotely, so... and we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but it felt like you guys should know. So, thank you. I'm going to give a little update about last week's episode. So, Tinder.
Oh, that's right.
Carlos, I've been holding on to some information.
Okay, well, the funny thing is you told me that you've been holding on to this information since, like, the day after we recorded the episode. You were like, I got, like, or I have updates on the Tinder situation. I'm like, all right, awesome. And I was like, why don't we just wait till this weekend when we record the next episode? Yeah. And then obviously that never happened. So I've literally been thinking about, like, I want to know what happened with that Tinder stuff.
So.
I'm not single no more. 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 I'm not single no more.
I just pulled, and that's for the bit. I'm going to insert a joke. So Carlos was actually in on the thing. I have been communicating a lot more. I've been getting a few more bites and putting myself out there, and I really appreciate you and Bailey helping me out with that. So I've been able to keep up with the Tinder, and I've been putting myself out there a bit more, and I'm definitely more active than I was before. So
active.
Not like
physically. I was like,
Mom.
Yeah. Well, did you ever get any messages back from any of the ones you messaged?
I was corresponding with some. The ball is still in the other person's court.
Well, I meant remember you messaged like 3 different girls that night we recorded. And we were like the Cold War, something about the Cold War.
Yeah. So the Cold War, you got your answer there in the past episode because that message was the end of that. Okay. When I sent the. Did Ostreicher retire? I sent that message.
Did Ostreicher retire?
Who's the fire soccer player that you guys were like?
Oh, Schweinsteiger.
Schweinsteiger.
Okay. Did she respond?
She unmatched. I looked back to screenshot it for the episode. I was like, it gone.
Okay. So now that we kind of recapped, gave a little bit of updates, we thought a fun sort of segment for our first podcast back in a while, which we keep saying that, but like this is really just an episode after, like a week after our first episode. To you guys, it's just
like, oh, they're back. They're definitely back.
But this is about a month after we recorded that episode, so we thought it'd be fun to kind of just like do a recap on media we've kind of consumed in this past month. Mm-hmm. So we'll just like talk about like 3 pieces of media, whether it's music or film or TV, that we've just kind of been consuming in this time.
Yeah, so Carlos, to start out, you've been listening to a few albums, right?
Yeah, so obviously since we recorded that episode, Kanye West dropped an album, Jesus is King, and Rex Orange County dropped an album.
I listened to Jesus is King.
Very divisive amongst the internet.
Yeah.
What I will say is I like the production on it, as I do most Kanye albums.
Yeah, Kanye.
He's got a good ear for samples and he
does a good job with choirs and live vocals and all that.
Lyricism, it's become corny since it's been falling off lately.
Yeah,
and it's not his best album. Will I play like a few songs here and there and like just kind of bob my head to it?
Yeah,
like that Jay-Z like gif where he's just kind of like, okay, I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. Rex Orange County, love the album.
Yeah, that's good.
Love all his music. Love the guy.
Is it 10 out of 10? Like his hit single from the album?
10 out of 10.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good to hear.
I don't know if I would actually rate it 10 out of 10. It was good. I liked it.
Hopes dashed.
I like him as a person. He's a nice guy. And I like his music. Do you want me to just go through?
Well, I'll pop over because you were there for some of my first one. So it's gonna sound very cliche, but Tinder definitely solidified my wanting to continue and see it through. I was watching through The Office again because I realized within the past couple months that I hadn't rewatched it since high school. So I had gone all through college and people were just like, "The Office is so basic, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, you know what? I feel like I didn't like the later seasons, but I am just kind of consuming other people's thoughts on this. So maybe I should revisit it since I had seen it all before. And honestly, better this time around. Like, I actually really enjoyed the stuff after Michael left. The writing, like, although it got kind of cartoonish, it was still like that. You kind of have to do that when you're in the 9th season of something.
Yeah.
Like, and they still came up with clever character building and that, like, just because people got happy endings doesn't mean that's not good television. Like,
yeah,
because that's what The Office was for me. It was just like good distraction TV. I wasn't in it for like, ooh, how is this pushing the bar? I was more in it just for like, hey, this is something I'm having on in the background. Yeah. This is something that, like it's a good time. So
yeah, I definitely enjoyed kind of just like popping into your room every now and then, or like when I just be getting ready for work in the morning. And you'd just be watching The Office, and I'd just be like, I'm gonna catch an episode here.
Yeah.
Because I vicariously rewatched The Office with you. I mean, I don't know how many times I've rewatched The Office. I mean, I remember I watched it when it was live on TV. Mm-hmm. I remember I bought the DVD set
as they were coming out. I had season 7, and that's it for some reason.
And like when I first got Netflix, it was on there, so I was always like. I've rewatched The Office a lot, but it never gets old. One of my favorite shows of all time, and it was nice to just like pop in every now and then. And then I watched the season finale with you, series finale, because I was like, you were getting close to the end, and I was like, when's the series finale? And you were like, oh, I'm in the second to last one. I'm like, don't watch the end without me, because I love watching the finale.
Speaking of watching things, you also introduced me to an app you found called Shudder app.
Yeah, the Shudder app. I was talking with like my coworker, and we were just talking about how we like horror films, and especially because this was early October, so it's like, oh, let's. I was just talking about like, be kind of cool to like watch, like only like a place to just like see horror content, other than like specific. Netflix horror genre, because sometimes like after like the 4th row of Netflix's horror titles, it just gets really.
You're just like, what filler content was this?
You're like, oh my god, okay. And then she was like,
La Abuelita? I don't know about that one.
She was like, well, there's an app at a streaming service called Shudder, which is like only horror. So I was like, oh, I'll check that out. So I did a free trial. There were some good movies, some good shows.
Such as?
I watched Creep Show, which is like an anthology series based off there was like a comic.
Yeah.
So they have an anthology series off of that. And then I watched a movie called Haunt.
Okay.
Which supposedly takes place in Carbondale, which is kind of cool to see, like, oh, Carbondale. It actually doesn't. It was filmed in Kentucky.
Yeah. But
it was definitely cool to see, like, a Carbondale shout out.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But I like that movie. It's about this, like, these weirdos running a haunted house, and they're just, like, taking people out that go to their haunted house. But it was I definitely kind of expected it to be really campy and cheesy.
Yeah.
And it was actually really cool. Like, it was creepy atmosphere and surprisingly very few jump scares.
Yeah. In the same vein of horror, you and I also saw Zombieland 2 in the theater. Yeah. It was a pretty okay time. I was expecting it to kind of drop in quality, but I mean, it's pretty much what I expected for a sequel to a movie 10 years ago.
I mean, I went into the movie just like, listen, Zombieland, the first movie, it was just a fun, it's just a fun movie. So I wasn't expecting going to the sequel like high hopes.
I was just expecting to be disappointed, and I wasn't.
Yeah, it was just like, as long as I have some fun, I'm cool with it, and it was a lot of fun.
I think it was good that they were able to get the whole cast.
Yeah.
They didn't recast or anything. Plus, they got the same director and, like, same writers and
Had
stuff.
a lot of the same sort of pacing and just, like, comedy. Like, you would think that after about 10 years that you would somehow lose that.
Yeah. And
I don't know, like, the tone of the movie or the tone of the comedy itself.
Yeah.
But I felt like it really did kind of feel like, oh, this is the same. This is a sequel.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It was good. I enjoyed it.
And we're also watching together the new show Watchmen, which, honestly, this is like the best new television I've seen in a while. Like, this is top tier for me. I am having a great, yet confusing as hell time.
I just like that every time we watch every time we watch a new episode, there's just a point where one of us just goes like, "What is going on here?" Like, I don't like. Why does it always feel like we watch an episode and as you're getting through it, you're like, I think I'm starting to piece together what's happening, and then all of a sudden it just hits you with like.
It's just like, here's Jeremy Irons with whatever shit he's doing this time, and you're like, what? What's going on today?
Just when you think you know what's happening, here's another thing, and you're like, where did that come from?
So definitely, if you have not heard about the very first scene in the pilot, don't look it up. Just find someone's HBO login info. I'm sure someone has the opening scene on YouTube by now, but it's a very strong opener, and I highly recommend it. So, and you don't even really, I haven't read the graphic novel. I saw the movie, but I haven't watched it recently, and it's not even directly connected to it.
If you don't know anything about Watchmen, I would just find a 10-minute YouTube video that recaps the graphic novel.
Yeah.
Because it's not a complex, well, it is a complex story, but it's not a complex summary. Like,
it's not built
if someone
off the
summarized
past.
it for you, I don't think you'd be like lost. I think you'd be like, okay, I get the basis, and then you watch the show and you're like, I get how that ties. Like, I get why it was nice to have some context.
Mm-hmm. So we've been talking a lot of movies and stuff like that, but something I experienced recently was I had told myself after I finished college that I was finally going to do it, and I did it. I played through all of most of Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
That's true.
It was a good time. Like, I thought I wasn't going to be able to get back into it because I had played a little bit before, and I stepped away from it, and I started a new save file, and I was like, man, I'm just going to be reliving a lot of this stuff to just grind through it. But there was so much more to experience, and it really is just like, I think game of the year.
I think that with Legend of Zelda, it's just one of those, even though it's a new title, relatively new, it just holds a nice nostalgic place in people's hearts because it's such a storied franchise. And, I mean, you can really just kind of, you get into it and you kind of get lost in the game.
And I'm a sucker for sandboxes, so the fact that they combined two things that I liked, I was like, okay.
And again, just like The Office, I enjoyed just barging into your room and being like, oh, he's playing Legend of Zelda. Let me mess with him and let me watch what's going on. So
yeah. And you have you saw a movie recently, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I enjoy watching most A24 films. So I was kind of excited to see The Lighthouse when I saw the trailer, and I saw Willem Dafoe, Robert Pattinson. So I was like, all right, I'll go watch The Lighthouse. But I think you were working or out of town?
Yeah, I think I was working.
I can't remember.
Whenever you went and saw it.
Yeah, so I was like, well, I want to go see it on a Tuesday when it was like $5.
Yeah.
Didn't really have anyone to go with. So I was like, I'll just go see it by myself. Which I will say, if you've never gone to the movies by yourself, I recommend it. It's a nice experience.
I haven't done it in a while.
I don't know. It's nice to just sit there and just enjoy a movie and just kind of think about the movie and just I don't know. It was a nice experience.
I want to do that more often.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that when you first. I feel like there's a stigma about going to the movies by yourself.
Yeah,
people are like,
it is
oh,
a bit more of a group thing.
Yeah, but I enjoyed going, and I enjoyed the movie. It was good.
That's good.
Pretty creepy.
Cue the clip of Willem Dafoe going, "Don't feed the crow, don't kill the crow," or something.
I seen you sparring with a gull. Best leave him be.
Like that.
Yeah. It was good. It was creepy, and the performances were really good. And yeah, I enjoyed it.
That's good. Yeah, and my final thing is actually a plug for someone that is a very dedicated fan of ours. My dear brother.
Brother
Brian, as he's come to be known over the years. Brother Brian actually live streams Twitch. He's a big fan of the game Dead by Daylight. So if you've been active in the Dead by Daylight scene, I know they have it on Xbox Game Pass and they have it on PC and all these others. He streams and he makes some pretty good content, some pretty good commentary. So check out Aged Expressions. That's his tag name on there. So check him out. Yeah, guys, so that was segment number 2. Copy read number 1 we are transitioning to now is being said from Carlos's mouth now.
Yes. Let me switch to the camera. That'd be nice, right? You know what? I'm going to keep it on the wide because I think we're on low battery, and I don't want it to just be stuck on my face.
Oh.
Our first sponsor of the week, Stressed Desserts. So listen.
Ooh.
How many times have you just been overwhelmed by life?
So many.
Have you been stressed out? Have you just been beaten down and you're like, you know what? I need a pick-me-up.
I do.
Stress Desserts is there for you. Stress Desserts is an app where you can order a dessert from any restaurant in your area anytime you're stressed. And what's nice about the app is that if you have a smartwatch, it will link up to your smartwatch and it will sense the levels in your body and it will tell your watch when you're stressed, and your watch will tell your phone, which will then tell the app, hey, listen, big boy's stressed. And it'll tell your phone.
I'm so glad this is real.
Yeah, and then Stress Desserts will send you hey man, here's some of the desserts that are on sale in your area. They'll deliver it to you, and bam, Stress Desserts. Great service, great people. Stress Desserts. When you're stressed, here's a pie.
Here's a pie. I love it. Stress Desserts. All right. Well, thank you for copy read number 1, Carlos. We're gonna move on to our second segment, which, if I'm not mistaken, that would be the little video that I have scratch that I brought. So a few episodes ago, you guys may have seen, we reacted to one of my vlogs from back in the day.
Is this Thoughts Among Men, or what was...
This is What's in the Box TV.
Gotcha.
So this is episode 2, I believe, of my vlog. So let's give it a view. Let's see what happens.
Hi, I'm Andy. I have the sniffles, and this is What's in the Box TV.
Apparently it cropped wrong. I remember putting in the YouTube thing over it.
So what's up, Internet? These are my 10 things that I dislike about people, mainly, and a few random things. Number 1, I don't like to use the word hate, and when people say they definitely hate this person or hate another, it gets on my nerve.
I feel like this is gonna be very r/nice guy.
Damn.
I feel like I know my past self. I feel like I know my past self and who I am now.
You definitely give off a nice guy vibe.
I know. I feel like that's
vlogs.
I know who I was, and I'm sorry, internet, for who I used to be. Let's acknowledge the fault that was my past.
Like you'll say like, I don't like people who say hey, and then you'll go like in like 2 sentences later, just like without any consciousness, go like, I hate when women only like bad guys.
Let's see if that happens.
Because, I mean, that means you're dedicated to not liking this person for a long time. Or when this happens, especially at a special occasion. Cough, cough. Ugh, what are you wearing?
No.
What? Ugh, that trend is so not in. I hate it. So number 2.
Huh? I don't know what I'm referencing.
Trend of wearing an Iron Man mask. Okay?
You fucking moron. Insert very misogynistic tone here.
So number 2, guys who treat girls like crap. I was raised to, be kind to everybody, but especially to women. You should be nice to women in the first place, and if you treat them like garbage, you don't deserve to live. So, why didn't you text me?
Wow.
Okay.
This is garbage.
You wanna do something?
I'm glad we're going through this together because this is the most cringy thing I've seen.
You're such a jerk. Ugh.
What is happening, Andy?
Do I care? So number 3, friends.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, yes! Oh my god. Dude, this needs to be posted on like Reddit/incel and they would all love it. They'd be like, he's right, man. He's got a point.
God. I can't see my own face, but I feel like I'm beat red. Oh my god. This is like...
Oh my god, yes.
Just hit play.
Classic high school guy just going like,
Yep.
friend zone sucks.
Friend zone sucks.
Why don't women want to sleep with me just because I said a nice thing to them?
Oh my god, Andy. Oh my god. This is why you haven't revisited these. You knew they were bad.
Let's keep watching. This
Hello,
is great.
internet. Thank you for not banning me yet.
This is great.
I don't have a joke for this one. It just sucks. Number 4, aggressive hair color. Okay, so I only want a little bit taken off the back, but keep my bangs alright, okay? Oh yeah, we can do that. Number 5,
Nice.
nosy people. When someone comes up to you and is like, hey, you dating this person? Why are you dating this person? Why are you doing this? What are you doing with your life? What are you gonna do? 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 Kinda bothers me. Shut up. Number 6,
Nice.
spoiled children. I really don't like when kids who get a lot of stuff just demand their parents to buy them everything and get mad when they don't get what they want. Mom, I need a new Game Boy. This one's the wrong color. What? The iPhone just came out. Mom, I need a new phone. Whoa, the new hoverpad just came out. Mom!
I'm so
Number
funny,
7,
right?
Sick.
That's not bad.
I was sick
That's
last
not
week
bad.
and it sucked.
That's
Andy,
sick,
how's it going? So, you want to go someplace? Sorry, bro, I'm sick. Oh, that sucks, man. Guess we're just gonna have to have fun without you.
I feel like that's a bit I still do, though.
Number 8, people who put other people's dreams down. Most people I know are pretty cool about it. But then there are
Hold
some
on,
people
pause
who
it.
just act like this.
Who the hell calls it a downer Debbie? Isn't it a Debbie Downer?
Apparently, 15, 16-year-old me. Yup.
I'm pretty sure.
Downer Debbie.
He's a total Debbie Downer.
Yep, you're right.
It's not Downer Debbie. Okay, whatever.
If you can't tell, I'm a moron. An idiot, if you will. A piece of trash.
Number 8, people who put other people's dreams down. Most people I know are pretty cool about it. But then there are some people who just act like this, and it ticks me off. So we're either top of your class. Actually, my friend Lance is probably going to be the valedictorian. Oh, you're never going to succeed. I don't really... I actually don't... I'm just going to stop you right there, because I know way more. Well, that's nice of you to
I
say.
don't remember having this interaction ever in my life. Did I
Number
pull this
9,
out of my
junk
ass?
computers. My first computer was a computer.
What? Why'd you take such a hard stance against Dell? You're just like...
Dell computers!
So many things I hate in this world. War, famine, hunger, Dell. You went with Dell. You're like, I hate war, but you know what? I hate Dell.
In case you can't tell, I put all rights reserved.
Yeah.
I covered my legal back then. Oh my god.
Dell computers. My first computer was a Dell.
I hate to turn up out of the blue uninvited.
But in all seriousness, after I figured out that it was a piece of junk that I just couldn't work the programs without getting the blue screen of death, pop it right here, and then all of you computer nerds out there have seen this before, and it just frustrated me so much. Oh, okay. 1,000 more points in a high score. Oh, come on. Oh, it's almost there. No! What the? Uh-oh. And once that happened, I just wanted to take my computer and throw it out in the yard and go all Office Space on it.
Nice. A reference.
Number 10, awkwardness. Even though I am the cause of most of it, I still don't like it. Like I'll be in the middle class, I just can't resist this opportunity. Hemorrhoids!
I think I've made
So now
that
it's time
joke
for
within
the
the past
prank call
decade.
challenge. So I have 20 dares in this bag, and then 48
So unfortunately, that is where I have to cut off the video so I don't dox somebody.
Oh, okay.
Because I do a prank call, and heads up, I think people knew I was trash because I called probably 7 people, and they all went to voicemail, and I was just like, "These are my friends." So yeah.
These are my friends.
So that was the most cringy vlog you've seen in a bit. Thank you guys for experiencing that with us. I'm crying. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us for that segment. And moving on to copy read number 2. It is brought to you by the sponsor's copy begins with, "You've heard of stress desserts.
Oh no.
Psh, get ready for the alternative that you know is better because it's better for you. Get ready for wealth in health. W&H simply is a service to instruct you that you should really go to the gym
Nice.
today or tomorrow. And, I don't know, eat an apple or whatever. This isn't a scam. Give us money. Stress desserts ain't shit."
Nice.
Yeah, that's the actual copy they gave us. I don't know what that was.
I don't know if stress desserts will like that.
Yeah, like, as a thick boy myself, I'm going to side with stress desserts more than anything.
Listen,
what
man.
was that about?
I'm here for any company that wants to promote wellness, but I don't know.
Wealth in health?
I don't know if it needed
I don't think
to
I'm
be.
going to get either with that company.
I don't know if we needed to book both of these sponsors on the same show. It was kind of combative.
They just offered so much money. They're just like, thick! And moving on to segment number 3, we have a little discussion thing that we're gonna talk to you guys about. Yeah. Earlier this past week, or last week for you guys, there was the arrival of Disney Plus, the streaming service. And, it opens up a conversation on Twitter and a lot of other social media that a lot of people are kind of nitpicking about. I have my opinions and Carlos has his, and we're going to kind of chit-chat about them. But the ongoing opinion is people are complaining that all of these streaming services are counterintuitive to what they originally brought on for. People are like, this was meant to get rid of the cable box, and now you're just throwing all these streaming services for like hundreds of dollars altogether. And I just think that's BS because it's a la carte on purpose. Like, I'm not getting CBS All Access. Like,
I mean, it's like cable companies specifically like bundled a bunch of channels together and gave it to you for a lower price than it would be like if all these companies and all these channels had their own service and they all sold it to you individually and you pick and choose what you wanted. Like, it'll probably be cheaper at some point, if you're picking and choosing what you want. But if if you end up choosing everything that was included in cable, but you're just going to the source directly, it's not going to be cheaper because all that adds up.
Yeah. So, and for instance, like, if you play it smart, so I'm on my parents' Netflix, but I pay for my Hulu So I give that login to my parents, plus my family members, plus my friends.
Right.
Because streaming services are smart that they know you're going to do that. So they give you a little bit of freedom by having different profiles and, not a large enough cap. Disney Plus actually caps you at 4 screens. So that's why I think they were smart enough. But it'd be nice if they had a bit more.
Yeah, I remember someone was telling me that Disney was going to try to limit the amount of basically the amount of times or people you can give your password to.
Yeah.
So I guess that's their way to combat it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, when it came to how much we would pay for cable in my house, we're saving a lot more because I pay for Netflix and I provide that for my family. My girlfriend pays for Hulu.
Yeah.
And she has my Netflix and I have her Hulu. And I don't know, you could just kind of you don't have to get all these services.
Yeah.
You don't have to get Stars and Showtime and HBO. Sure, if you want to watch those shows, all these different streaming services are trying to entice you with good content. And so if you want to consume all that content, you're going to be paying a lot more money because you decided not to stick with cable. I'm pretty sure if you'd stuck with cable because you wanted all these different content, you would, I don't know, you would probably be paying less. But I don't I'm saving money. Because
I'm paying for
because
Hulu.
I'm not paying for everything. I don't have a Showtime subscription.
No.
Because I don't make use of it.
I have an HBO connection through past things, through past people's logins, but I have access to that. I was already gonna get Amazon Prime Video because I'm gonna use Amazon Prime because I'm gonna need stuff shipped to me quickly, and there's not a guarantee with other stores that that's gonna happen. So,
and if you look at all these different streaming services, there is a lot of overlap.
Yeah,
there are shows on Hulu that are also on Netflix, and there are shows on Netflix that are on Amazon Prime. Obviously, there's difference between Hulu and Netflix exclusives, Amazon Prime exclusives. Every streaming service will have their exclusives.
Yeah.
But there is crossover. For instance, Life's Too Short, that show I told you about, that Ricky Gervais mockumentary, that's on HBO, but it's also on Amazon. You can watch all, the entire series on Amazon. I'm pretty sure you can watch The Office on Hulu.
Yeah.
And you can also watch it on Netflix. So there's all these different crossovers, and so it's if you really want to save money, if your goal when you were cut the cable, if your goal was to save money, then you need to start looking at all these streaming services that you're paying for and start being what can I get rid of?
Yeah.
For instance, I paid for a Showtime subscription for a while because I really love Desus and Mero. And I was well, you know what? I noticed that I was usually just watching their content through YouTube. They upload a lot of their segments and pre-show stuff and just a lot of content on their YouTube. So I was well, why am I paying for Showtime for only really watching one show when most of their stuff ends up on YouTube anyways? I'm just going to get rid of that expense.
Yeah.
And I'm paying significantly less
plus recently
for content now than I would have been if I'd kept cable.
Yeah. Recently Showtime decided to go follow the suggestion that a lot of people have already been giving. I have a student Spotify.
Oh yeah.
And they lump in Hulu with it, but you can also get after I'm done using my student account, I can still get this same account because they include it. It's just going to be $5 extra, but it's still cheaper than a lot of the other alternatives. But I get Spotify, I get Hulu, and I get Showtime now, all within that package. And it's they've already started this process of kind of bundling up certain parts. So, companies are smarter, but there's just a lot of legality with the content that I think it's kind of it's going to take some time to merge those.
Yeah.
And even then, I feel things would kind of get swallowed or when Netflix came up, content kind of boomed because it was we can have a lot more freedom with content. I've heard stories of people who've worked with Netflix and they get way more creative freedom than a lot of other say just network television, because that's just the way it is. Netflix's drive is to give the consumers what they want. So it's it's nice to have this alternative.
Yeah.
So
and I think that all these streaming services do provide a lot of quality content.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is, like, when a new streaming service comes out, if it has content that you're like, that looks kind of interesting, most people are willing to just, like, they see that initial price. Like, for instance, Disney Plus, $6.99, you're like, that's not too bad. Like, $7 a month, I'll pay for that. And, like, you just kind of forget that the overall picture is that, like, all your costs in all these streaming services are starting to add up.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, like, I really like this avenue that we've kind of gone down of, like, streaming services and, like you said, like, a la carte.
Yeah.
Like, I like being able to pick and choose the content that I want to watch. Like, I don't want to be paying for a cable service where, like, I'm getting Stars and, like, Showtime and HGTV when, like, I'm not going to consume that content, so why am I paying for it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's sports streaming services where it's like, if you really only like sports, like, and you don't really care for anything else on TV, pay for this sports streaming service. And it's just like, I like that option, and I get where a lot of the just kind of anger is of just like, well, when all these services said, like, cut the cable, save money, but now I'm paying more money. It's like, okay, well, that company is not obligated to make sure that, like, your overall cost is like,
and at the end of the
I
day,
know you're paying for Netflix, Hulu, HBO, so you know what? I'm going to make mine really cheap. It's like, no, they're going to make it affordable for you. And, like, if that was the only thing you were consuming, it's a lot cheaper. But
at the end of the day, they are just that, companies. Like, their goal is to get money. Like, let's be honest, let's call it a spade. Maybe I'm giving them too much, like, credit for, I don't know, just after studying advertising and everything else, I'm like, honestly, this is kind of the best alternative that we could get. Like, although you want better, just, they have to pay their workers. They have to pay the people. There's so many people that work under that umbrella. So it's like, you can either get fair wages and pay a little bit extra. I mean, in all honesty, it could be mirrored with like taxes in general, but that's a whole nother topic and conversation. And maybe I'm coming from like growing up on only PBS and the 5 basic like network, like ABC, Fox, CBS. I grew up with those and that was it. We didn't have cable in my house. So, growing up and now having the option, hearing about a show, being like, oh shoot, I have access to that because I just pay like $5 a month. Okay, yeah, sure, I'll check it out. And it's also opened up my doors to things that I never thought I'd be able to watch. So
yeah, and I one thing I like to do is just kind of like take advantage of free trials. Like I take advantage, like the Shudder app, like the horror streaming service. Like I watched a lot of good content during October for Halloween, just through a free trial. And was it good content that like I could imagine like, oh yeah, like maybe I'll watch like some more of these movies once my free trial was coming to an end. Sure, I could have renewed the subscription, but I was just kind of like, it's another streaming service that like I don't think that I'm gonna make full use of all this content, so I'm not gonna pay for it. And I think sometimes like I think we just need to like look at all the things that we have and look through like, am I using it? Am I not? And just kind of make your decision that way.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I make use of the subscriptions that I do have, like Amazon, Netflix. Like I consume all that content pretty well.
Yeah.
Hulu, I'm starting to get more into because I'm watching shows like What We Do in the Shadows and things like that. But Hulu isn't necessarily like my thing. My girlfriend, like Mariana's paying for it, and her family makes use of it, and like it's a nice bonus that I have like a login for it.
Yeah.
But I am not paying for anything right now streaming wise that I'm not making use of. But I'm sure that that's not the case for like everyone. That like I'm sure that if you looked into what you're paying for, that you could probably be like,
yeah,
I don't know if I'm watching this all the time. Like I could probably go without it.
Yeah.
And if you can't, then like that's just the price of like you know, what you're paying for.
That's so consumerism.
I don't know if you can really then take the stance of like, I'm paying too much. Where it's like, okay, well,
earn more
consuming
money.
the content. Well, I wouldn't say earn
No,
more money.
I'm
just
totally
saying,
kidding.
You're consuming the content, so you're getting your money's worth.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't feel you're getting your money's worth, then stop paying for it.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to stop paying for it, it's because you feel like you're getting your money's worth.
Well, and kind of a branch off, recently, like on Netflix, they had the Breaking Bad El Camino movie that released both on the streaming service and in theaters.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, you know, the theater experience, I don't think that's ever going to go away. People keep claiming it will, but I think we've gotten over the hump because they've made it much more of an experience.
Yeah.
Like, with Dolby surround sound, with IMAX, with 3D, with all these other options and comfort, it's no longer just like...
Well, for some context, when El Camino was coming out, I remember you were like, we were talking about it and we were like, oh yeah, let's watch El Camino. This is before I even knew that there was going to be a theatrical release for it.
Yeah.
This is when it was just like, oh, it's a Netflix movie. It's going to come to Netflix on this date. I remember I was texting you and I was like, oh, let's like do a movie night for it. Like we'll watch it. You know, we'll be drinking. We'll have a good time. And then as the date came a little bit closer, I remember you were like, hey, El Camino's having some theater dates. Do you want to go see it at a movie theater? And in my head, I was like, why would I go see it in a theater when I'm paying for Netflix? I'm already getting to see it there. Plus, I'll be in the comfort of my home. But I was coming more from like the introvert side of me is like, I could go out or I could stay in. I'd rather stay in.
Yeah.
But I get the appeal of wanting to go see it in a theater because like I love going to the theater. Like I'm not saying like I'm not saying that I didn't want to go to the theater because the theater sucks.
No.
I was more just saying of the two,
But like
in that moment I would have preferred staying at home, and we watched it on my couch. But yeah, it was I think that is an interesting sort of like there are some things where it's like you can rent it at home and watch it at home, or you could go to the theater.
Well, and there are straight up like movies that did terrible at the box office, but have found like not necessarily cult fame, but they've gotten a lot more, a lot popular since coming to streaming services and being able to like cycle through that. Because when people have the freedom to just kind of randomly check it out and everything, it's probably going to be a bit more of a long game instead of an instant like here's your money and go type of thing, like like weekend openers are. But I think that's why people are a lot more critical about the movies that are being released theatrically, because people go to the theater for an experience. They go for blockbusters. They go for big visuals that you can't experience in your home, that you don't want to spend the money to experience in your home. You could with a curved screen and 3D and all that, but that's thousands and thousands of dollars when you can pay $15 for like an ultimate experience for this one movie that you want to try once a year.
Yeah, it's
like it's a good not a compromise, but I mean it's the natural evolution of where I see it. I don't think it's gonna die. I don't think movie theater experience is ever gonna do that.
I definitely like the idea of like movies having the option for you to rent it. Yeah. Like theatrical releases having the idea for you to be able to rent it and watch it from home. Because sometimes it is like, well, going to the theater, it's not just like a 2-hour experience. It's like, well, you got to go there and like, you're going out, you got to get ready, and then like
maybe eat beforehand, then you watch the previews, stay till the after credits,
and then
drive home.
Yeah, so it's like a whole endeavor. Maybe the total, like if you're saying like you're saying to a friend, hey, let's go out to the movies. Maybe it's a total of like 4 hours because like getting there, prepping, getting there, watching the movie, going out to eat or whatever, coming home, as opposed to like if I were to tell you right now, like, hey, let's go watch a movie, it would take us like an hour and a half, 2 hours, however long the movie took, because like takes us about
we have to
5 minutes,
and then we're done.
5 minutes to get the movie loaded up, watch it for however long it takes. Movie's over, we turn it off, and it's like, all right, cool. Yeah. And like one thing I just kind of thought of is that like there's the discussion that like comedy movies aren't big in theaters because like people aren't coming out to see comedy movies. Yeah. And I feel like I'm a part of that like crowd where like there's a lot of comedy movies that I saw in trailers. I'm like, I really want to see that movie, and in my head I thought I'll probably just wait till it comes out on video. Exactly. Which kind of sucks, like I should be supporting that content because I do enjoy comedy movies, but sometimes I do feel like I don't know if like I want to put forth that effort, which is like kind of sucky on my part because there's a lot of movies like that I still haven't seen that I want to because the movies look good. Like what's that movie? One movie, the two girls, they're like going to college. Booksmart.
Yeah.
I really want to watch Booksmart.
I saw it in the theater. I don't think my experience was enlightened because I saw it in the theater. I wanted to see it, and I had a friend that said they really wanted to see it, so we went and saw it together. And I honestly, if we would have had the option for me to watch it in like his basement and just hang out and like have a few drinks and just do it there, perfect movie to do it to because that's the genre, like those are the films that you watch with friends that you can pause, you can chit chat about, or you can talk over.
Yeah, that's the other thing is that like when I'm watching a comedy, I like to laugh and like chat about the movie, and like I don't know, like I feel like sometimes you don't get to do that at the theaters. Yeah. So like I do wish that like movies had the option to be like, well, you don't want to go see it at the theater, but you want to like watch it at home. Yeah. You should rent it because like. Booksmart, I would have totally watched it. That one Stuber movie, like it looked kind of dumb, but I like
with Kumail.
I like Kumail Nanjiani and I like Batista. I would have been willing to rent that. I mean, there's like a bunch of comedy movies that came out that I'm like, I kind of like wish I had like
Happy Time Murders.
Happy Time Murders. That one movie that Seth Rogen produced with the kid from Room.
Good Boys.
Good Boys.
Yeah.
Like, there's all these comedy movies that like. I wanted to see because they definitely piqued my interest. They look good, but I just didn't because I didn't want to expend the effort to go to the theater. And have a whole experience.
And I don't think it's. I mean, speaking as creators-ish ourselves, we know the content we're making is YouTube content.
Yeah,
we know this is free content that we're putting it on the service that we know people will consume us most towards. We're not trying to publish this anywhere. We're not trying to get people to pay for what we're creating. Although there's millions spent on these larger films, you also have to acknowledge, like, from script form, all right, this is comedy for one, so this is something that is going to want to make people laugh. Granted, I know there's benefits. For instance, hey, is that Don Cheadle? Clip would not have happened without a movie theater.
Yeah.
There's also like a Star Wars clip where like at The Force Awakens, someone's like, turn off your goddamn cell phone, and the Star Wars thing comes up.
Turn off the flash, you fucking moron.
Yeah. And it's like, those are like great movie things. And everyone has like those stories. Like we have one from Ant-Man and the Wasp where I'm pretty sure it was the same guy as is that Don Cheadle? I'm pretty sure he was in that theater.
No, but I love the theater. I really do.
Yeah.
And I don't think it should go unsaid that watching a comedy movie at a theater is also a great experience.
It has benefits.
Yeah, it's not like comedy shouldn't be at the theater. Because I going to the theater and seeing a comedy, like you're with a bunch of people, it's like going to a comedy show.
Yeah.
Like going to see a stand-up comic. Like you're laughing because the content's funny, but you're also laughing because of the energy of just like what you're watching. Everyone's also enjoying it, and that's like a good time. Like part of the theater experience isn't just going into a dark auditorium and big screen, nice speakers. It's also the crowd. Like you're all enjoying this together, and like for instance, watching Marvel, the Endgame, Avengers Endgame in a theater, crazy great experience.
Yeah.
Like when I watched it opening day, I went and it was at like in a big theater, huge crowd, like sold out theater, and like the energy was incredible. Like during the climax, it was awesome, and it was much different than I remember watching it on DVD. And it was definitely like those. I mean, in like the climactic moments, it was cool, but it was like. It was unlike watching it at the theater. Yeah. So it is this sort of thing, like the discussion of like theaters versus like streaming stuff. There are benefits to each one. Yeah. So it is kind of like a delicate balance. And there's things that I prefer about one, and there's things I prefer about the other. So I don't know. It was a long rant.
No, that was really well put. I think you added some good footnotes to the general convo. So on that note, guys, let us know what your thoughts are. in the comments of our YouTube, our Instagram, or our Twitter. Plug the socials right here. Let us know what you enjoy about the movie theater experience. Do you like that streaming is becoming a lot more commonplace, and that they at least offer you both alternatives now? Let us know. And on that note, we'll move to our final bit of the day, which is, as always, our Twitter drafts from my account that I seem to have an endless amount of, mostly because I think of thoughts and then I'm like, is that worth saying out loud? I don't know. Let's find out if the audience thinks so. So this week's is, I'm convinced Facebook hires people to tweet about Facebook posts, then hires others to like said content. Because y'all are loving on that trash social network too much on my beloved Twitter. Because do you ever see me like, oh, I'm never deleting Facebook on your Twitter? And you're like, who did this? Who said that Facebook was good here? Facebook's for grandmas.
Well, yeah, definitely like when you go on like...
That's not my Facebook experience, I'll tell you that.
All these different like social medias, like I'll be on Facebook and I'm like, I'll see someone that has like a screenshot of a tweet and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I'm just like,
keep all these separate.
Yeah, like I know my Facebook. It's pretty business centric ish. I don't post there. Twitter's my main. Instagram's kind of my fun, and like
Instagram's my fun.
my fun. But I just don't get it. Don't mess with my Twitter.
Twitter's definitely my place of most of my comedy. Like,
yeah, that's
not like
true.
where I get my comedy style. I just mean like when I go that I want to laugh.
Yeah.
Like. Go on social media because I want to see some funny stuff. I usually go to my Twitter and then maybe Reddit. Instagram, I definitely go for more just like updates or what people are up to.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because you feel like that would be like Twitter because people like tweet about what's happening. Or Facebook.
But it's shifted.
But Facebook is definitely more just like...
I got married!
News. Yeah, more news stuff. Like, look at my opinion on what's happening in the world or things like that. And Instagram's more like... check out this bar I went to, and I'm like, yeah. I like that bar that you went to, or like, look, I'm in this part of the world, and I'm like, awesome.
Awesome. Good for you. On that note, guys, thank you yet again for joining us for the Thick Boys Podcast, episode 10.
This was a jam-packed episode,
It was. What a full episode it was. I'm looking forward to chip-chopping it up soon. Thank you guys for joining us. I've been Andy.
And I've been Carlos.
He's been Carlos. And as always...
Thanks, Tom Hanks.